Here we have an EVGA 3090 that came in for repair. The same exact card that we get in every day. First thing we want to do is inspect for a 12 volt short, which is very common on those cards. So we have 3 12 volt inputs, 1, 2, and 3. We have a fuse inductor, and one more right on top. Fuse, current sense, inductor. We can measure for a short right here. And similar to what we got last time, it's not a dead short. It's a 0.04 voltage drop short. Let's go to resistance mode and measure. We have 38 ohms. So if we measure at the fuse here, we have 38 ohms, and we have 38 ohms. Let's measure here. Let's go back to diode mode. We do not have a short, and we do not have a short. So we have a partial short. Last time we worked on this card, the partial short was caused by a DR MOSFET for memory. We have the BLN0 DR MOSFET, but it does not look blown. I do not see anything wrong with it, so we do not really know where that partial short is coming from. Let me do some more measurements on the board. Measure this coil down here, 0.43. 5 volts, 5 volt line, 0.43, and measure the other one, 0.43. If we go and measure our 1.8 volt line in resistance mode, we should have something like 220 ohms. And what readings do we have? 224 ohms. And if we measure our PEX line, should be between 4 to 9 ohms. And we have 6.3 ohms. Perfect. So for the most part, our voltage rails are measuring good, except for the first 12 volt line. We are measuring a partial short. We should not have a low number like 39 ohms, but we should have something in the kilo ohms. If we measure this one here, yeah, we have 474 ohms. And if we measure the one on top, well, that's the shorted one. If we measure this one we are reading 125K, and this one is reading 400, actually 120K. The value is going down. Probably if we keep our probe on here, the reading is going to be much lower, but we are reading 0.43 voltage drop on those lines, which is good. And that's why we test in diode mode, because it's a lot faster. In resistance mode, you have to put your probe and wait until that value settles on some components. I mentioned this in our training class, why we use a diode mode, why we use a resistance mode, when to use each one or a combination. We have another training class coming up in January. If you are interested, just contact us so you can reserve a spot. We have a class for micro soldering A to Z, and a class on how to fix electronics of all types from A to Z, including video cards, laptops, hard drives, game consoles, any electronics device. We're not teaching anything specific, but we do go over the most common repairs that we do in the shop. Once you are done with the course, then you can tackle and you can take on any electronics device. They all share the same components, whether it's a capacitor, resistor, inductor, power IC, MOSFET. Students learned a lot, and I did get a message from one of the students, maybe I'll post it here, how he was able to fix an iPad that does not power on because of our class. The same student also fixed an Asus laptop that does not power on because of the training that he took here. I'm really happy when I see students benefiting from the knowledge that they learned here. They did not just take the knowledge and go outside in the real world and do nothing. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? We have the 3 power connectors here. If you go a bit down, I did not see this. What's this? We have a blown component here. I never had to replace that component on this model before. You know what? Let me just do a quick visual inspection on the card before we do anything. I do have donor boards, so we can replace that component, no problem. But let's go over the board, quick visual inspection. So now we know that we have a blown component and we have a partial short on one of the 12-volt lines. And what is this? What in the world is going on? We have a blown chip also. What are the chances that we're going to be able to fix this card? I don't know. We're going to replace the components, measure for a short, make sure we do not have a short circuit, and hope for the best. If this card is going to turn out to be a rabbit hole, it's not for us. Right? With a microscope that clear, nothing will go unnoticed. We can even adjust the light some more so we can see more details. If you're on the same type of business or you are doing this as a hobby, you can purchase this amazing microscope off our site, the NorthridgeFix microscope, along with the NorthridgeFix articulating arm, which is built like a tank. Any one of you who have purchased that articulating arm from us, you can leave a comment and let us know how you like it. It's built like a tank, heavy duty. Okay, so that's the only thing I see on this side of the board. 2 blown components and a partial short. Let's go over back of the board. And back of the board looks clean. Let me just measure this fuse. It's also known to blow on those cards, very common. I have many videos about the same exact issue where we had a blown fuse here that was caused by a short circuit somewhere else on the board. So if you measure in resistance mode, my meter is in resistance mode, we have 0 ohm resistance, so the fuse is good. Flip the board, and while at it, why not measure our 12-volt line down at the connector and also our 3.3-volt line. Meter in diode mode, and we have 0.49, and we have a short on our 3.3-volt line. 101 issues with this card. Look at this. It's not a dead short, but it's like a 0.01 voltage drop short. If we go to resistance mode, we are reading about 40 ohms. I do have a donor card right next to me. Let me measure the resistance down here and see what we got. Look at this. We have 3.4 kilo ohms. Not 40 ohms, not 30 ohms, but kilo ohms. 3,400 ohms. So 101 issues with this card. Right now I'm reading 8 ohms to ground. I'm measuring to ground. In resistance mode, I'm reading 8 ohms. So it's like, it's almost a dead short. Why don't we start by replacing the 2 blown components and see what happens? We're gonna measure again. Smells like fireworks. That smell cannot be good. Cannot be healthy. But what can you do? I do have the fume extractor. I do have the air purifier. And I do not need to wear a mask. Not yet. Let's go ahead and remove this one also. We are using the NF.mini solder pen. You can also purchase it off our site. NF.mini, NorthridgeFix mini soldering pen. Whatever tools you need. The Flux, braid wick, soldering stations, hot air stations, thermal cameras, the microscope, training boards, whatever you need, just log into NorthridgeFix.com, click on shop, add to cart, checkout, pay, and we almost always ship out same day. If you have purchased from us before, you know how fast we ship. And viewers always leave comments on how fast our shipping is and the quality of the products that you buy from us. Everything is quality checked. And for the most part, our items are modified by the factory to fit our standards. Whether it's a feature or color or whatever. We do not reinvent the wheel. We take something that's already good. We make it ours, we brand it, and we sell it. Like now we have multimeter probes. They should be here anytime now. We've been working on them for a while, and they are the only multimeter probes that are 4 feet long. And we can replace the tips. They will come with extra tips, so something that is useful for any technician. Long cables, flexible cable, and being able to replace the tips instead of replacing the probes. We also just got chisel tips for the T3B station, or if you have a station that uses the 210 handle, we now have chisel tips. You know how chisel tips work. They transfer more heat for bigger jobs. So those are already posted on our site. So look at this. If I check for a short now on the 3.3 volt line, we do not have a short anymore. So removing those components, one of them was causing the short. Removing those components resolved the short. We had 8 ohm short here, a partial short, but now if you measure in ohms mode, what reading do we have? We have 3.4K. That's awesome. That's amazing. What about our 12 volt line that we have on top? Do we still have 39 ohms? And the answer is we do not have 39 ohms anymore. We are reading 313 ohms. So what does that mean? It means that there's a good chance that we can fix the cart. We're going to replace the components and hope for the best. We got rid of the partial short that we had on top here. We were reading 39 ohms. Now we are reading 340 ohms. And we also got rid of the 8 ohm short right here, down here. 4th pin from the right. Now we are reading, we have a good reading now. I do have another donor board, and I used a lot of parts from this board. Okay, hopefully we have the components that we are looking for. Let's take a look. We do have it. It looks good. And we do have it, and it looks good. Amazing. We are a few minutes away from having, hopefully, a working cart, but who knows? Those carts like to play games all the time. It's a gaming board. So we have to be prepared for this. We are the kings of playing games with boards. Not playing video games. I wish I had time. I do play video games every once in a while with my kids, but I do not consider myself a gamer. The time I will spend playing a game, I could be doing something else more useful. It doesn't mean that I should not be playing games. It's okay. In moderations. Play responsibly. And that is the difference between a successful person and a person who's not successful. How much time you want to invest in yourself. Like people who trained, who took our training shop, they are investing in themselves. They're spending the money and the time to learn so they can do something positive with their life. If you want to sit home all day, play games, and complain, why does he have money? Or why is he successful? I'm not. Why did he make it and I did not? It all takes effort from your side. Effort, patience, and persistency. You don't want to work on yourself and you just hope to be successful. It's not going to happen. Chances are slim. If something is not working for you and you spent enough time trying to make it work and it's not working for you, it's either that you are doing something wrong, or maybe you just need to change what you are doing. If you want to go into the business of selling, let's say, clothes, jeans, you know you have a lot of competition. Are you going to be able to compete with department stores? I see some businesses where they sell clothes, and I look at that business from my point of view and I say to myself, how many pens does he need to sell to make ends meet? Or how many shirts does he need to sell to pay the rent, the expenses, family, car insurance, gas, internet, cell phone, kids, 101 things. Is that business gonna make you money? Some people do make money with that business, but very few. If you fail at something, it's not really failing, but you learned. You gained knowledge. You learned from that experience. Life is all about succeeding or learning. There's no such thing as failing. We go down the stairs when we are young and we fall, we trip, but we learn. Next time I need to be careful. Next time I need to do this. Next time I need to hold the rail. Just an example. You ride a bicycle, you fall, you hurt your knee, you hurt your elbow, you get a scar, but then you learn. People who took our course, they invested in themselves, in their knowledge. And they paid good money because I shared everything I know. $3,500 for the micro soldering course and $4,200 for the repair course. If you take both courses, it's $35 and $42. If you take only the repair course, it's $4,500. And that's as of today. Things may change in the future. I do not like to quote prices in any one of my videos because prices can change. But that's what they paid. And they bought the tools. They spent thousands on tools. They invested in themselves. And one of the students already fixed 2 devices because of the knowledge that he gained in the class. That's only the start. Day 1, he fixed 2 devices. There's a bright future for that person. If you do take the course, you gain the knowledge, and you just sit home, play games, it's not going to work out. You need to start thinking like a business person. I did give a lot of business advice in the class, but it's up to the student on what he want to do with that knowledge. We do not have any glare, so I just turned on my ring light along with the anti-glare light, so it's a combination. We use the lights to our own advantage, just like I taught in the class. When do we use anti-glare? When do we use the ring light? When do we use a combination? Light is the image that you see on the screen. You have bad light, you're gonna have a bad image. Let's solder that chip on the card. And we learned how to solder a much bigger chip in our class, a 128 pin chip with a lower pitch. Pins are closer than what you see now to each other. We're gonna check on the pins and make sure everything is solid. Solid, solid. We wanna make sure all the pins are solid. And without a doubt, all pins should be solid. We like to do the job one time. But of course, we are not perfect, and we do not live in a perfect world. Everything is solid. And everything is solid. Amazing. Are we gonna have a working card? I hope so. The 1.8 rail is reading good in ohms mode. PAX rail is reading good. 5-volt line is reading good in resistance mode, diode mode. So there's no reason why this card would not work. I'm just connecting the card. We have it connected to the PCIe adapter, connecting to our motherboard. So 1, 2, and one more cable because we have 3 12-volt inputs. Right here, if you can see it. 1, 2, 3. 3 cables. One, 2, and 3. Turn it on. The light is on. And I see smoke. Smoke from somewhere. The big chip that we replaced smoked again. Why did it smoke? I have no idea. We did not measure a short anywhere on the board, but it smoked. So let's look at the chip again and look at this. The chip smoked again. Now, the NXP chip is a microcontroller. I never had to replace that chip on a video card before. Do we need to reprogram that chip for that card? Can we get another chip from another card? I would say it's fine if we grab one from another card, a similar card, and put it here. And why did this chip burn again? I do not know. Something caused that chip to burn. Let me flip the board quick. Look on back of the board. Same area. Now, I do not have any schematics or board view diagrams for this board. I do not know if we can download them online, but I'm gonna look and see if we can download at least a board view for this board, so I know where that chip connects to, what connects with the chip. We can measure the pins. No short circuit reading anywhere on the board, but the chip still burnt. I mean, it burned initially because of a reason. Just making sure we do not have a short between the pins. I would hate to leave you hanging, but I do not want to do my research and spend the time while I'm recording. It's gonna be a big file. It's gonna take a lot of time to edit. If I'm able to figure it out, I will do a part 2. Or if I'm not able to figure it out, then there's no reason why I would make a part 2. Sometimes I do have part 1s on the channel, and I tell you we'll continue in part 2. But if I do not have a fix, then why have part 2? Useless. If I do have a fix, then I'll do a part 2 and I'll tell you what I did. In the meantime, if you know what's going on, you have a board view diagram. Schematics alone is not enough. We need a board view diagram. Any information that could help in fixing this card, leave it down in the comments. We're gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it, or maybe you did not enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do something else in the next video.